Okay, so it seems like the Gumpai situation is absolutely blown up over on the internet at the moment, and well, whenever I said, I was going to keep you guys up to date if anything else was going to happen, I wasn't expecting anything else to happen, but it seems like this is absolutely blown up. Now, if you guys don't remember, in my last video, I talked about a situation about the VTuber Gumpai, who's a cancelled VTuber who had, many videos made on them. For example, this one mujin video where they were essentially exposed for being a pretty horrible person. They're being kind of racist. They were also attacking like indie artists for making a plushie of themselves. Now, if you want the full context of what exactly they did in the past, you can actually go look at Mujin's video, and also there's some other ones as well, one from like Rima, I'm pretty sure, as well, that came out going into more detail about some of the stuff that they've done. But essentially, all you need to know is they were a pretty horrible person who essentially just got ousted from the internet. People were constantly kind of harassing them and whatever due to the fact of all of this kind of stuff, and then they just went, okay, fine, I'll just leave. But it seems that they're making many attempts to come back, and my last video, I actually talked about a situation where Gumpai was trying to sell her VTuber model for 2.2 thousand, and I thought that was going to be it, but it seems like they have now fully rebranded and are trying to start up a new VTuber like model design, everything, and trying to kind of go under the guise of a different name. And this is Mirio Maki. Now, yeah, this is an account that has 1.4 thousand followers, and yeah, this is their new design, as you can see it around in the background. Now, the funny thing is that they weren't actually very careful in terms of trying to hide who they were in the past. The first tweet that I saw from this was from this person called Proctor Zero. This is the first I've heard of them, but obviously this was a pretty popular post which actually drew attention to this entire thing. And they said, for the curious, this VTuber is Gumpai. Gumpai is a notoriously insane VTuber who once started a fight with famous plushie maker Kusa, slandering them multiple times. Gumpai was also caught with a boyfriend after building her entire brand on being a single GFE streamer who dated her viewers. However, most significant of all, Gumpai has a body count. At least one of her fans is no longer alive and blamed her in her exit note, which, yeah, that's incredibly sad. I did not know that was a thing, and obviously it's terrible that, that's even happened. I don't know how true this is. I haven't seen any kind of evidence behind this, but again, obviously this is what this person is saying. They said her emotional manipulation and psychopathic behavior have been well documented by numerous sources, including my own website. Receipts will be in the replies to this post. Okay. Said, don't be fooled, the reason Gumpai is trying to reincarnate is because she is too lazy, toxic, and narcissistic to get a real job. I very rarely call out VTubers directly, but in this case, I sincerely believe there is no coming back for Gumpai. You do not change overnight after years and years of deliberate, premeditated acts of maliciousness. The only reason she is admitting to any of this is because she knows the evidence is overwhelming and that she has betrayed, attacked, and insulted enough people that pretending it never happened isn't an option. Reject her overtures, ignore her apologies. When she puts her foot in the door, stamp on it violently until it retracts. So, yeah, again, this is pretty crazy because essentially, yeah, they put out this message which we will read as well. Essentially, they say Cryp link to sources. Apparently, these are some sources to some information with the fan, and they said they updated it with tweets of the fan that apparently did some pretty terrible stuff to themselves. They said, I hope you're wrong about not being genuine about having reformed, but I can't blame a VTuber if a crazy fan decides to do something to themselves. That's their responsibility and theirs alone, which again, I feel like people have different kind of opinions on this kind of stuff. But again, I don't really want to go into the whole fan thing. I think it's kind of irrelevant to this situation. Again, you guys can go read this tweet if you want. I'll leave a link to it in the description. But again, I feel like I just want to talk about, Gumpai returning. But that is also another bit of terrible news added on top of that, which I didn't really know about whenever I first was researching into this situation. But this is also the tweet that came out from Mirio Maki, which obviously is Gumpai, the new account for Gumpai. And I think this is where they first went wrong. They pretty much openly admit that they used to be Gumpai. They said, hi everyone, I know this is coming out of nowhere to most of you, but something happened recently and I feel like the need to clear everything up. To be upfront, I am the reincarnation of another VTuber who was previously a very controversial person for many reasons. I'd lied, bullied, and overall did many things that upset a lot of people, and now people that previously were victims to my past behavior have found me again. To those people, I want to apologize wholeheartedly for my past behavior and mistakes I have made. I recognize that I've hurt you and many others. And while my apology alone won't make up for it, I vow to make up for my past mistakes with future growth. I would also like to apologize to my new followers for lying about being new to this space, and I hope that you all can forgive me and having patience for me from this sudden announcement. If any of you decide to unfollow me, knowing all of this, I completely understand. I want to keep streaming and being a VTuber. It's what I love doing more than anything. But I recognize to do so that I must be accountable for my past actions. As Maki, I promise that I will never repeat my past mistakes, and that I will continue to prove that I've changed and continue from this new path of positivity. I appreciate and am incredibly grateful to each and every one of my followers, and I hope that all of you love this new me. So yeah, obviously it's very interesting. They've like straight up admitted that they used to be a controversial VTuber. I mean, they probably could have gone on and just decided to be a regular, VTuber and not talk about this at all. And I reckon, no one would have noticed. That's the thing with VTubing. It's very like anonymous. It's very easy for someone who has a pretty bad, past and has, been pretty horrible in their past to just kind of rebrand and move on. As long as, your voice isn't that recognizable. I mean, it's really easy for someone just to kind of slip through the cracks. But obviously, making this tweet and this apology is bringing a lot of attention to it. And honestly, it did a lot worse than it did good for them. And they say locking the replies from now, as many people have asked. The hidden replies are from people that are still upset with me, and I do not blame them. They have every right to feel that way. I will not hide any valid criticism. I mean, they said I will not hide any valid criticism, but then they also hid the replies, which I think is kind of crazy, because you said you're not going to hide them, and then you literally said in the same sentence that you hid them. So they said, but I don't want my replies to be filled with personal attacks. They said, I would also like to say that I'm not going to hide who I was anymore. I was Gumpai, but I am not her anymore. All I ask is that you are patient with me as I re-earn your trust. I acknowledge all of my past wrongdoings, and I'll prove that I've changed for the better. If anyone chooses to no longer support me, you have every right to do so. What I did in the past was incredibly wrong and hurt many people, and I apologize wholeheartedly for everything that I've done. My past actions were unacceptable. They said, I understand actions speak louder than words, and I hope that going forwards my behavior will prove that. I've learned from all of my past mistakes. Many of you will never forgive me, and that's okay, but I will do everything to prove that I've learned from my mistakes. I said, I'm a nosy, who? Obviously people say, oh, it's you. I know who you are. I know what you've done. You know the mistakes you've made. So if you want to start again and make the right choices, good luck. Again, I just don't, I think, for what Gumpai has done, I just don't think there is any coming back from this. You can see this has got 300,000 views and only 300 likes. I mean, there's not a lot of people that like this. And obviously with this information coming out as well of what happened to this fan, it definitely does not look good for the new incarnation of Gumpai being Maki or Mirio Maki. Obviously, yeah, they had a screenshot of the post quoted. People said, this made me so sad. Maki was my first Twitch sub and was very supportive and kind to me. I do wish she changed, but at the same time, I don't really I can make that cool as what she did was before my time. Which again, obviously, it seems like before all of this apology stuff, she has successfully tricked a lot of people into following and believing in her. And so again, it seems like, yeah, some people are now going to be caught in this awkward kind of phase where essentially they've, subbed to her, they've kind of gave her, donations or whatever, not realizing who she actually was. And obviously that is pretty terrible. Now, it seems like they're only a PNG tuber from a lot of this kind of stuff. Again, maybe they have a Twitch somewhere else where they do some streaming. But again, it's still terrible that, they've managed to trick all of these people. And, it seems like they're being a normal kind of streamer saying, hi, I'm live soon, etc., etc. And it's pretty bad. People say my favorite VTuber said, oh my goodness, not again. Said, I feel like to start things off, she probably should connect with Kusa and personally apologize to him the way she treated him. He didn't deserve that. I guess for the time being, we'll see if she really did change or not. But to be blunt, I'm doubtful. They said, Gunpai's a body cam. Wait, what? Not surprising. Wait, what? They said, thanks for the heads up. I remember the Kusa stuff vividly. They said, this sucks. Her new model on this account, Mirio Maki, is so cute, but such an awful person was secretly behind it. Shame. They said, had a feeling she would drop and rebrand quietly after that PR nuke went off. assaulted the land with disrespect afterwards too. She just seems like a very selfish and spiteful person from what I saw of the situation as it unfolded, and that definitely is true. They said locked replies and then apologized on New Reincarnation instead of her previous VTuber persona where she did all of those mistakes. Yeah, 100% insecure and still the same person with many red flags. Looking forward to the future Google Docs and Twitlongers related to her. So again, yeah, a lot of people obviously are saying that they are not going to be supporting her at all, and I think that is the best way to go forwards. Obviously, I feel like, you know, if you want to support her, I mean, I don't know why you would, but I'm not like stopping you. Again, I'm not like someone who cares about like who you support and who you don't support, but at the same time, you know, I think the evidence is very clear, and I said, you know, look at Mujin's videos. Look at, you know, the video that I made previously on this, talking about, you know, some of the stuff that they've done. Again, you know, there's a lot of horrible things that they've done in the past. And again, it just gets worse and worse with like the kind of revelations from this person as well. And yeah, I mean, I was not expecting this to come out, as I said, after I made that other Gumpai video on her selling her model. I might have another follow-up in terms of someone that might potentially actually bought the model, but again, we need a little more proof from this person, so again, I will hold off, and I'll make that video very, very soon if it does actually come out. But for now, that is all the information we have on Gumpai. Again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, it's a very interesting situation, and especially from this person as well, commenting on it and kind of, you know, exposing quite a lot of stuff about Gumpai here. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.